subtracting decimals. So when subtracting decimals, we must line up the decimals. And then it's important we may need to add additional zeros to line up. So let's look at the first example. So infant Jill needs to be weighed. The healthcare professional has Jill's mom and Jill go onto the scale together. And the scale reads 195.3 pounds. Next, she asks Jill's mom to get back on the scale by herself. According to the scale, Jill's mom weighs 188.18. So what does the baby Jill weigh? So we need to take this 195.3 and subtract 188.18. So we go ahead and subtract. We could go ahead and add a 0 right here. And we can begin by starting on the far right. We could go 0 minus 8. That can't be done, so we just need to borrow from the one to the left of it. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Now we have a 10. Now minus 8, so that's a 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Bring our decimal straight down. 5 minus 8 can't be done, so let's go ahead and borrow. So we have an 8. And now we have a 15 there. So 15 minus 8, 7. 8 minus 8 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have, for the baby, weighing 7.12 pounds. Now let's go ahead and look at the next example. Example 2, we're going to solve for the following. So we're going to make sure we line up our decimals. So we put 1.052. Add a 0 right there, and we begin to subtract. We start on the far right. 0 minus 2 can't be done. We borrow. So we have 3 minus 1, so that's a 2. Then we have a whole 10 we're borrowing, so 10 minus 2 is 8. 2 minus 5 can't be done, so we need to borrow to the left. But this is a 0, so we can't borrow from a 0, so we need to go ahead and borrow from the 7. That becomes a 6. This becomes a 10 now. Then we need to borrow from here now because we have a 10. So that becomes 9, and now we have a 12. So 12 minus 5 is 7. Then we have 9 minus 0 is 9. Bring down that decimal straight down, 6 minus 1, and that's 5. So we have our decimal number is 5.978. And let's go to the next example. Example 3. Kevin is in a wheelchair and he needs to have his weight recorded. The healthcare professional asks Kevin to wheel onto the scale. The scale reads 308.25 pounds. The healthcare professional reads the weight of the wheelchair on the wheelchair's label. It reads 56.1 pounds. So what does Kevin weigh? So we need to go ahead and take this number and then subtract it from that number, right? That number from it. So we have 56.1. Let's go ahead and add a 0 so we can line up. So we begin. 5 minus 0 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1. Bring down the decimal straight down. 8 minus 6 is 2. 0 minus 5 can't be done. We borrow. Now we have 10. Minus 5 is 5, and then we just have 2. So his weight would be 252 pounds, 0.15.